circle bright, weave your web of dark and light, earth, air, fire.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Witches the Moon, Season 13, Week 5. I am Natalie and I'm your Monday host, and this week we are talking about the importance of a grimoire or a book of shadows, right? Now, I prefer the term grimoire. Grimoire comes from the ancient French, and it just sounds better. Book of Shadows, I think, actually traces its roots back to Gerald Gardner, which is nothing wrong with that. But it was meant to be the book that you keep in secret, right? And indeed, your grimoire is like your recipe book for all of your spellcraft and all of your witchy learning, right? Now, a lot of people give me the question, what is the difference between a grimoire and a journal, or a book of shadows and a journal? To me, in my mind, there is a huge world of difference in the two. A journal is something that you keep, where you keep some of your personal thoughts, where you log learning or questions, or you make notes of things, but you don't necessarily put all of that into your grimoire. Your grimoire, again, is like your recipe book. If you were going to pass down all of your witchy knowledge and learning to the next generation or to someone, your grimoire would be what you give them. Your journal's not so much, because that's just your personal reflections, right? You want to use your grimoire as your springboard, like your recipe book, for building on other things. And a lot of times I will alter spells that are in my grimoire without writing down the new ones, because I'm looking at that as like the recipe, right? I might want to tweak how much salt goes here, how much basil goes here, how much, what have you, just like a recipe, right? You could take your grandmother's recipe and turn it into something totally different by tweaking a few things. And so that's kind of what your grimoire or your book of shadows is, right? It's that journal of all of your learning. And, when I first started out, I wanted all of my stuff to be on special parchment paper, and I was going to have it all handwritten, and it was going to be artistic and beautiful. But I will tell you, I'm not an artistic individual. I cannot draw a stick person that looks like a flippin' person. Everybody else in my family can. I'm a freak. I don't know what to tell you. But I do appreciate beauty. Now, this is not my book of shadows. My grimoire is at my office. But this is an example of what a grimoire looks like. Okay, so it's just, it's just going to be all of your stuff. Now, for me, this is being used as a journal. I am using this as a journal to log my study in the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids. So all of my information from the Guerch is going into this. And this is my personal reflections and thoughts on what I'm learning. Some of this will indeed go into my Book of Shadows. Some of the enchantments and incantations and things of that nature will be things that I will copy onto parchment paper that will then go into my grimoire. Now, the thing about my grimoire, though, is that I have a combination of things, because, like I said, ideally, I was this idealistic witch. I wanted it perfect, and so I was like trying to color coordinate things and align them and put them in there with little tabs, because that's the kind of person that I am. I mean, when you look at my textbooks, they're all tabbed within an inch of their life, because I'm marking where different things are so I can get to it quickly. The thing is, when you are learning, it is not a linear path. And that's certainly true with witchcraft. You may learn this here, this there, and you can move things around in your grimoire if it's like mine. Mine is like 2 pieces of wood with 2 really long screws. And basically you punch holes in the paper and you stick it in there, and that's your grimoire. The thing is, the writing space is about this big. That's it. So you can see here's the rest of the page. This is the tab to kind of go off of, where it sits in my grimoire. That way I can still read what's there when the book is open. So, I've got the same kind of thing here with this. And as you can see, some of this is printed out from paper and ink. I mean, we're modern witches, folks. So the importance of the grimoire and why keeping that grimoire is so important is because you may need that information later. You may want to pass it down to someone. It's a place to chronicle spellcraft so that you can go back and do it again if you need to, or tweak it for something else. and have that recipe there. You don't have to go back and go, oh my God, what did I use for this? Oh, let me look this up. It's there. You open it up and you go, okay, this is what we're going to do. We might want to tweak this or tweak that. But it gives you that base recipe book to go off of with your spellcraft. Now, in my grimoire, I also happen to have listed correspondences. I have information on crystals. I have special salves and actual practical recipes for like skin salves or lotions, creams, soaps, things like that. Those actual recipes, because those things to me are infused with my magic, and I use them to heal people or to cleanse or to do whatever. So I think that it's crucial to keep a grimoire so that you have some sort of idea of where your spellcraft is going. The other thing that's very nice about a grimoire, especially if yours is non-linear like mine, is that you see where your learning is going, right? You might find things you've tucked in there that you went, oh yeah, I remember when I thought this, right? So it's a good way to chronicle your growth as a witch in terms of how frequently you need to use the book. What kinds of spells are you doing on a regular basis where you don't need to consult the book? Other things that you would want to pass on to someone else. So when I write something for my grimoire, I'm not only writing it for myself, I'm writing it for what I hope will be the next generation that takes my grimoire and uses it. I would be thrilled to know that 50 years from now, 100 years from now, someone's going, well, this is my grandma or my great-grandma's grimoire. And this is where I started my spellcraft, right? To know that served as a springboard for someone else's journey on this fabulous journey of growth that witchcraft is, it just would thrill me no end. But that is the difference between a journal and a grimoire. And that is the importance of keeping it. It chronicles your learning, and it allows you as a witch to continue to grow and change. And there may be things you even want to take out of your grimoire. Now, I personally am opposed to that. I will not take things out of my grimoire. But there are things that I might hide away in the grimoire that I'm kind of like, I don't know that that's necessarily anything anybody needs. But it definitely helps to stimulate your learning. It helps to go back and look at where you were from the beginning, and you can see in a very realistic manner where your growth is going as a witch. And so that's why I think it is so critical to keep that grimoire. You never know when that spell's going to be needed, and there could be somebody that needs something and you're like, oh yeah, I remember I did something on that a while back, and oh, it worked out pretty well, and oh, I wish I had it to give you, but I didn't write it down. Right? When inspiration strikes, when the Awen flows, you need to write it down so you don't forget it. And that's exactly what your Book of Shadows is for, or your grimoire is for. It is there as a tome to account for your learning, to give you a place to go back to and to reflect, to tweak, to change, to rewrite, or to redo, to vary, and to pass on to the next generation. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and blessed be.